Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services, and I'm clutching my wee bottle of whiskey. That's all I've got left, innit? Oh no. Anyway, folks, hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, I've seen Halloween Ends. In fact, I saw it first thing this morning, which was several hours ago. No, unlike the previous two installments, I did not go to cinema fully bedecked in the appropriate Michael Myers costume with the appropriate mask on. Regular viewers know that what I tend to do in the past is go as Michael Myers, come out and do an initial reaction video, usually in a pub, and then I do the full spoiler review. This is not the full spoiler review. Don't worry. I'm going to try to be as vague as possible. But I did not go to Flicks this time. I stayed at home and I watched it on Peacock. Yeah, I know, folks, and I didn't even bother getting dressed up for it. In fact, I was in my dressing gown. A dressing gown and a kilt, what a wonderful combination. And the reasons for that, you guys know, I've said quite a lot, exhaustively in fact, that I was not a major fan of 2018 Halloween. Moments that I loved in it, but a big disappointment overall, and I despised Halloween Kills. And yet I'm a massive Michael Myers fan, as I'm sure you can possibly tell. And I do love the fact that come October, Halloween time, Michael Myers on the big screen is always a great idea. Or even on the smaller screen this time round. Okay, we've got that, we've sorted that bit out now. It didn't go to Flicks. Now, because I did not enjoy the first two movies, I've been on a roller coaster ride as to how I'm going to approach this movie. And if you watched my previous videos in the run up to this, and I wasn't anywhere near as really enthusiastic as I was previously because I got burnt so badly. But this time, I've kind of I was against it, then I warmed up to it, then I was against it. I got sent, and this is the saving grace, folks. I got sent the pretty much the entire bloody screenplay, and it had a couple of test screenings. We know there were different versions that were shown. We know that certain bits were tweaked and changed around. We know all this, and so this is just a sort of prologue, preamble before we get into the meat and bones of it. And it's a good thing that I knew what was going to happen in this movie, because against my better judgment, I wouldn't ordinarily read a big spoiler-rife leak of a movie. I wouldn't do that normally. But with this, I began to hear terrible things, what could be involved in this. And I thought, oh, I'll better read this just in case. And I did not like what I read. Now, here's the weird thing, folks. This film was exactly what I'd read about. Beat for beat, dialogue for dialogue, everything that I'd read was in this movie. And yet, you ain't gonna believe this, I enjoyed it. I actually enjoyed Halloween Ends. I enjoyed it far more than I enjoyed Halloween 2018, and massively more than Halloween Kills. Now, the reasons for this are probably because I knew what was going to happen, and although I was dreading it, this is a wrong idea for a Halloween movie, but because I knew, my expectations were lowered, and the film delivered a lot more than I expected it to. Hey! So it's a massive plus win-win bonus scenario. Why did it do well for me? Because it was acted really well. I never thought I'd be saying that. Never thought I'd say that. Okay, so the film it's set 4 years after Halloween Kills. The big bloodbath, the horror-thon of Haddonfield. My God, Haddonfield's worse than Midsummer. There's no one left living there. And in fact, in this movie, the people that are left living there are not very nice. They blame Laurie for bringing the boogeyman out into the streets. You goaded him, it's because of you. How is it her fault? And there's a lot of angst and PTSD going around, but literally no one's a happy chappy in this movie. Nobody. And our film doth start back in 2019, I think it is. And we have the young man, Corey Cunningham, played by, I keep forgetting his name. What is it? Rohan Campbell. And he is babysitting on Halloween night for a young lad called Jeremy. What a obnoxious little scamp this lad is. And right, his folks go out partying. And they say, look, he's had a few nightmares about Michael Myers since the events. So just, be careful with him. He's a bit of a bedwetter. But they end up watching The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing on TV. And they're initially having a good time. But then suddenly, the lad goes missing. Corey starts hunting around for him. This is not funny. What's going on? And in a very, very tragic accident, after being locked in the attic, our boy, our babysitter, Corey Cunningham, bursts out, and in a huge, horrible accident, the poor kid goes sailing over the top banister. It's a very nice house they're in here, with a huge circular staircase, a big spiral staircase, and the poor kid goes cascading over the top of that. And my God, folks, this is no spoiler, this is the start of the movie. Boom! This kid's destroyed, demolished. Fucking hell. I did not expect, just a kid sailing over a railing and hitting the floor down below to be quite as bone crunching. My God. So Corey Cunningham, even though it wasn't his fault, he's pilloried. The town hates him. He's doesn't get sent down or anything like that, but the town hates him for it. He's the new killer, and he gets bullied. Even his mother doesn't like him. His mother's bloody horrible. But he will encounter a certain somebody that we know. He's Corey Cunningham, CC, and there's a certain MM who's still around. But where is he? Again, these are no spoilers, folks. This is widely known. He's been living underground. The working title for this movie was Cave Dweller. He's been living in the sewers with his mask and his knife. But after the events of Halloween Kills, he took a right beating there, did he not? So he's a much slower, far less kill-crazy rampager. He's just biding his time down there. If you do look around in the movie, you'll notice that there's references to people who've gone missing. Because obviously Mikey, he might not stray too far from his hidey hole, but if anyone does encroach upon his turf, yes, you might not see them again. But, so, Laurie has got over things. Laurie is very at peace with the world, and she's writing her memoirs, the Michael Myers memoirs, and she's living with her granddaughter Alison, played by, I keep forgetting this guy, Andy Matichak, who I did not like in either of the two previous installments, and yet I liked her in this. And they've learned to enjoy Halloween again. They're actually okay. Everything seems to be hunky-dory. Laurie Strode's in a happy place now, even though there is no closure on Michael. But he's not around, I'm all right now. I'm over that. I'm happy. I talk to everybody, but some people still blame her for all the events. So you've got this quirkiness that's in there. Anyway, folks. Again, I don't want to get too spoilery. I've delivered the beginning to this movie. Killings will ensue. Someone is doing the old Mikey Myers shtick. But who is doing it? Is it Mikey Myers? Is it somebody else? By now, you already know what it is, but I'm not going to spell any of this out for you. Wait till the full review for that. Folks, this is a film about trauma, about a haunting, a series of events which have haunted the town and have completely formed like a cancer within that town. David Gordon Green, who I still do not think can direct horror movies. I don't, because none of these three films are scary. None. But the first two films were badly written and ineptly performed by a lot of the people in them, with really terrible plot contrivances and just nonsensical stuff. He's took that on board and gone completely left field with this one, because this is not what you expect from a Halloween movie. Just not. Although Michael Myers is in it, don't go expecting a Michael Myers movie. It would be wrong of me to try to make out that it is. Yes, he's there. Yes, you'll see the shape in action. But that's not the film that you're going to see. Those elements happen. This is a character-driven drama about people that are broken, are suffering from, they're haunted by tragic events in their past, and a town that will not let go and will just seek to punish, keeping on trying to find scapegoats for the things which bother everybody else. So poor old Corey Cunningham will be a scapegoat in this. And will he turn that around? Will he become what they think he is anyway? Well, yes. Oops, slight spoiler there. The film is gory, the film is violent. Do not expect the levels of carnage you got with Halloween Kills. That is not the case here. But when the violence does come, oh yeah, it is nasty. There's bone crunching stuff here. There's tongue snipping stuff here. There's body impaling stuff here. Lots of bone breakage, and the blood is really, it's that thick, dark red. It looks real. It's like, oh dear. And the way it gushes or flows or seeps is quite authentic, I find. Tension, yeah, it's a slow burn build up. I like that. It actually appealed to me. You got the chance to invest in the likes of Corey Cunningham, and you understand where he's coming from. Mikey Myers, I'm not exactly sure where the hell he's coming from, but that we'll come on to that. Laurie is great in this, really good. I genuinely didn't expect to say that, because I've despised Laurie Strode and the way that Jamie Lee Curtis plays her in everything except the first movie. And I love Halloween 2 as well, but for different reasons. And she's comatose throughout most of Halloween 2, so you can just pretty much forget about her being in it. But H2O, Resurrection, and these three movies, well, the first two of this trilogy, I absolutely despised it, and she's really got on my nerves. But in this, I thought she was great. And it's because Jamie Lee Curtis really does act in this, and she's given more depth, more warmth, and she plays with that. Her relationships with Alison and with Hawkins, Will Patton, it's great, it's very touching. In fact, there are several quite surprisingly touching moments in this. The dialogue might not be spectacular, it's not brilliantly written. Don't expect anything that's, wow, that's almost Shakespearean. No, it's not like that at all. Danny McBride wrote it again, and God, there's probably a few of them involved in it. Can't quite remember now. It's committee done, it always is. But the dialogue may not be special, but the performances actually are, and they elevate all this. So I found myself particularly sympathetic to a lot of the characters in this, including Corey Cunningham. As I say, Rowan Campbell, I have to keep checking these names. He's wonderful. He looks like a cross between, and this is what I liked about it as well, certain angles, there's a Tom Berenger look to him. There's also a Lance Guest look to him as well. Lance Guest, who plays one of the hospital orderlies in Halloween 2. And he's a wonderful actor in many other movies as well. The Last Starfighter, Late Phases, he's awesome. But there's a look of Lance Guest, and I thought, that's quite nice, I like that. But there's also a Michael Dudikoff look as well. Remember that American Ninja? So he's got an interesting face. He's an interesting character, and I like the way he plays it as well. References, everyone's saying, oh, it's Christine. Of course, Christine had Arnie Cunningham. Stephen King wrote Christine. John Carpenter made the film adaptation of it. The book is great. The film is fantastic. And I get that. You will definitely perceive Christine throughout this, that there's a sort of hero worship of a monster, and sort of who's in the driving seat really. And come the finale, there's a very definite nod to Christine as well. Kilt-Man, don't say too much. You will also find hints of Carrie. The bizarre attitude of Corey Cunningham's mother towards him is very like, Piper Laurie from with her relationship with Sissy Spacek in Carrie. She's bloody horrible. She's genuinely horrible. What are the references? Well, you've got The Thing playing on TV, and a sense of paranoia from The Thing. You can't trust anybody. Is that person next to me who looks like my friend actually a ruthless serial killer, a monster on the inside? So you've got that element from The Thing. On TV as well is the Jean-Claude Van Damme action at Hard Target. I haven't yet worked out what the connection is there, and yet it can't just be there thrown in. There has to be a connection. Please, someone. If it's so obvious, I've just overlooked it. But that's playing, and I love the film Hard Target. So it's just nice to see it, but I can't quite work out why that was. Does Haddonfield still have horror-thons? Because they're playing The Thing, Halloween night. And then the following Halloween night, well, the events, the prologue is 2019, if I remember rightly, when the little kid gets killed and Corey is launched on its odyssey of persecution, and then, is it retribution? I don't know. You tell me when you've seen it. And then you're watching Hard Target years later on Halloween night. So I don't quite get what that connection is. I'm playing John Carpenter's fantastic score for Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Halloween 3 is also massively part of this. The very font of the movie, the opening titles, is the Halloween 3 font, which is brilliant. Oh, here we go. In case you have any doubts that this was Halloween 3, there you go. Cheers, y'all. Halloween 3 was a divisive movie because it didn't have Michael Myers in it. And the advertising, the marketing was terrible because it made everyone seem to think that Michael Myers was going to be in it. I've discussed this movie a lot, and I love the movie. I revere Halloween 3. I absolutely adore it. But I knew going in it wouldn't be a Michael Myers movie, so I didn't feel cheated. There seems to be a conscious thing here that Halloween 3, the original one, was a completely different story from what people have been expecting, and it split the camp and only found its legs and became a cult favourite after many years of being on home video. It did not do well at the flicks, and it seems like David Gordon Green and everybody else involved has gone like, well, okay, some people didn't like Halloween 2018, a lot of people did not like Halloween Kills. Now we're doing Halloween 3, and everyone remembers Halloween 3 as splitting the camp and doing something wacky and different. So let's do something wacky and different, but let's see if it works. So it's almost like they're tempting fate a second time, and to be honest with you, I don't know if it's going to pay off or not. I've already spoken to many people who've seen the film, and I appear to be the only one that likes it. I've read some reviews and they've been appalling. I am not deliberately going against the grain here. People always get accused of this. Not so much myself, but a lot of other reviewers that I see, who I read their reviews or I see them on YouTube or whatever platform. And if they seem to buck the current trend, people come on and lambast them and say like, you're just trying to be different. You don't really think that at all. No, well, maybe some people are like that. That is certainly not the case with me. Certainly not, because I am not a fan of the first two films in this. And even though people don't seem to be liking this one, I liked it because of the reasons why. It's different, it's character driven, it's better acted, it's beautifully filmed as well. It's another thing as well. The cinematography is fantastic. Everyone raved about the cinematography in Halloween Kills. It looked alright, but no way did that mimic the scenes that were set in 1978, the original Halloween, and the sort of flashbacks to that where they've redone them. I didn't think it looked like anything like it. It still looked like a modern film to me, but it's beside the point. This film looks great. Carpenter's score for this is infinitely better than it was for Halloween Kills. I love his score for Halloween 2018. I hate all these monikers. But I wasn't so fussed on Halloween Kills score. In this it works. It's a lot more sparse, I'll be honest. I had the score before the film came out. I was deliberately not trying to listen to it too much so that I get the full impact of the visuals and the soundtrack together. And I was surprised watching the movie just how little music. There's a lot of music there, but it wasn't all the time. And a lot of sequences where I thought I'd spot the music here, and if it's there, it's just completely underscore. But overall, I love the soundtrack, and there's some standout cues. I will not say what they are because they will give certain things away. I love as well that this harks back to one of the things I love most about Halloween and the Michael Myers mythos is the original novelization. Again, I know you've heard me say this before, that was set 2,000 years ago, a druid tribe, and a sacrifice that they make, and a curse they put on an evil spirit. There you go. And this film definitely brings that sort of thing back in. Sorry, I stumbled over my own tongue there. Halloween 3 is based on an old druidic festival of Samhain, the Celtic festival of Halloween. So it brings that in. Laurie even mentions, she talks about the mechanics and the spirit of evil. And it doesn't sound, it's not nowhere near as pretentious as the dialogue in the previous movie. You know, the more he kills, the more he transcends. What? Yeah. It's not as contrived or as condescending as any of the dialogue in that. It's not wonderful either, but she talks about, you know, the fabric of evil. There's the evil on the outside, which affects all the tribe, and the tribe band together. She actually says the word tribe, which made me think straight away, oh God, yeah, you are bringing that in, right? I liked it. She's great. As I said before, Laurie Strode's great in this. There's a few little tricks up her sleeve, which I enjoyed. And Curtis seems to enjoy herself doing it as well. And it's a good send-off for Laurie Strode and for Jamie Lee Curtis from this franchise. And make no mistake about this, folks. This is the end of this Michael Myers, Laurie Strode saga. It is. I mean, there's no spoilers there. And they've said this is intimate, this is personal, and it definitely ends here. Oh, it does. It does. There ain't many ways of coming back from this particular finale, but I liked it. Tonally, people have said it's all over the place because you've got such a huge element. It is the relationship between Corey Cunningham and Alison, which I'll be honest, there were moments where I thought the chemistry between these two wasn't perfect, but there were moments where I definitely thought it worked. It's, you know, it's a lightning quick relationship that builds up, but it's between two broken people who are struggling with their own nightmares and their own sense of persecution and sense of loss. So they're drawn together. People like that do get drawn together. So I could see how that happens. You have the sort of high school jocks and bullies that you saw in Christine, and they're here in this as well. But they're recurring characters as well. And you will be championing pretty much everyone that dies in this. Fucking brings it on themselves, you know. And you kind of you're rooting for them to get taken down, and nastily as well. And the killings, folks, are nasty. There's nowhere near as many as you might want, and some will happen not by the hand you want them to have committed it by, but they're powerful, they're brutal. The film is exceptionally violent, as I said before, and you'll like that. But it's the hand that deals it, which you may not be too fussed upon. And there's a nice reference to evil may be destroyed, but the shape of it still changes, or the shape of it still exists. I've misquoted it there, but it's evil and the shape, and the sense that things can be passed on and can be ongoing. And I like that about it. So, for me, this film really worked. I liked all the references, as I said, Carrie, Christine, Halloween 3, The Thing, Hard Target. Gotta work that one out. Someone's gotta let me know about that. Do my head in that now. The idea of tribal justice and joint enterprise, that's a really heavy theme. That I'm not going to say that the film will deliver that, but whether it succeeds on it on a more fundamental and psychological level, I'm not too sure. Whether it works, you know, as a real treatise on how a town would deal with things and how you can send out evil and how you join together to destroy it. I'm not too sure that it works, but when you watch it the first time, yeah, it's bang on. But don't go expecting great in-depth sorts of revelations about the nature of man and revenge and the catharsis of retribution and excising demons. Don't go expecting that. This is still pop horror. It's essential that it's still pop horror, but it's a more character-driven variant on what you've seen before. And it is not, folks, a Michael Myers movie. You've got to bear that in mind. Once you know that, then you'll probably have a better time Don't go in expecting what you've seen previously. That is not going to happen. But that said, it still delivers the violence and the gore, plenty of kills, but, you know, score's great, cinematography's great, performances are great, and I actually enjoyed it. I will be watching it again, obviously, because there's bits I've forgotten. There's connections and stuff that I need to link up properly before I can do the full in-depth review. But that will be coming in the next couple of days, a full in-depth review, warts and all, so be prepared for that. But for now, folks, I'm not going to say anything more about this. I actually enjoyed it. Didn't expect to. Went in with lowered expectations, and it beat them. It raised I thought, my God, I'm actually enjoying this. And I didn't expect that. But it's knowing that it wasn't what many people are expecting of it. So, are the creators brave for doing what they've done here? Or was it a very stupid, foolish thing to do? Only you guys can decide that. I think, yeah, they swung for the fence, and yeah, it was a brave move. And I think mostly it worked because I had a good time with it. Oh, there's loads of bits which I thought were just crap, or could have been done better. But overall, I mean, one thing I will say: how long did it take Haddonfield Police to respond to a call? Oh, there you go. Well, you'll discover that moment for yourselves. In the meantime, in this ever whiskey dwindling in between time, please keep it kilted. Keep it Celtic. And I am going to see you all. Oh, I've got to break down now. Halloween had to end sometime, and now it has.